Hey, 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 look at your cutie pie bangs.
Thank you. They're shaggy already.
I love it.
Where?
I changed my settings in Zoom and it starts with everyone's cameras off now. And I didn't mean to do it. I was looking at something else and now it takes longer for things to get started. And that's rude of me. Hi, cutie pie, angel.
I'm offended that it said that you were in another meeting. Who were you talking to?
It told you that?
Yeah. No, I'm just
Wait,
kidding.
did you guys
Don't tell me who you're talking to, but yeah, it did. It
Did
said
you guys
that,
all see that?
well, I don't know.
I was talking to
Yeah, it showed up when it like, the host is in another meeting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the president.
I was like, that's normal. It's Peggy.
I know. It was just Alina. Not just. It was Alina.
It's just me. Just little old me.
It was way more cool than the president.
Way cooler than the president. All of you are way cooler than the president.
Yeah, is
Hi,
that what I
gang.
said? Did I say it wrong? Whatever.
Hey team. Hey gang. Hey. What's another word for team or gang?
There's many
Nothing?
words.
Squad, I think.
Oh yeah. Hey squad. Oh, I like it. I'm gonna use that from now on.
I hate it because I have someone at work that uses it, and it's a person that I can't stand, and they use that all the time.
Perfect.
So I hate that.
Well, maybe
Let's do it.
I know. You shouldn't have told especially you shouldn't have told Teresa that, because now squad is going to be like a big thing.
I don't think she'll dare.
I think that you think that you're scarier than you are.
Oh, you want to try
squad.
me?
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to try you. I take it all back.
Oh, here we go. Shannon's coming on. Yes.
You guys, I think it's Vanessa's birthday.
It is.
What?
So she
It
said she's not going to be joining today, but we're
Yeah,
expecting
she
everyone else.
shouldn't.
It's her 45th.
There's only one person that joins things that have to do with work on their birthday or on Christmas or on their family vacation, and that is Teresa. And so
why are you like complaining about it? Don't you want to hang out with me? I'm super fragile this week. You need to boost my ego. Just tell me how great I am all the time.
does
You want to
everyone
see me all
feel-
the time.
you guys feel a sense of fragility this week? Or maybe a sense of oncoming fragility, like you're not quite there yet, but you know that like maybe. Julie's like, no, I'm good. I was feeling it too. And so here's what we all need to do. Okay. We all need to take a moment and figure out like what is our biggest pull, and then make a plan to integrate it in some way that we can this week. So what is our pull? Like, what do we want right now that has nothing to do with goals and nothing to do with work or nothing to do with Instagram, nothing to do with any of it? What's a pull that feels like it's a soul feeder if only you had the XYZ to make it happen? Oh, I'm so inspirational. It's like I'm in a high school assembly.
I would like to rest.
Okay, so maybe you don't have time in the grand scheme to take a veg day, but what can you do to integrate rest? Can you make a massage appointment? Okay, can you order?
Can you take a nap?
A nap might be within reach.
Rest. Okay, wait. Can you make yourself the most delicious hot bevy and light a candle? Okay. You
Ooh,
Kelly.
ooh. Order your favorite dessert to like be delivered, or have your husband go get it or your partner go get it, and then watch your favorite like binge TV show.
You know what I
Just
started
be
watching
really,
last night? Is
really
a-
decadent.
I started watching a fun show called Your Mom, My Dad, where single parents are getting set up by their children to date to go in this like bachelorette type house. But the kids are watching in another house and they're the dating experts. So they're like interfering with things and meddling and trying to get their parents with the right people. That was good.
Interesting. That's a way of rest. So it doesn't have to be like literal rest. I feel the opposite. I feel like I have been, I'll just share. Okay. I know this comes like as a huge surprise, but I have a lot of deadlines right now that are all kind of overlapping, and I don't really have, I did this to myself. That's very unlike me, I know. But it's made it so that I feel like my tailbone is now like so inverted into my body that it doesn't do what it's supposed to anymore, because I've been sitting for so long on the couch like this, just drawing, which is great. It's great to have art as the project because it's been a long time since I've had that. But I have carved out, I was talking to Alina about this just now, about how necessary it is to be able to do what we need to do in our responsibilities. But I'm taking it to the extreme, and I am going to be going on a road trip whilst doing this project. So there's a lot of driving, but I'm still getting the art done. Yes, Teresa, what is it, hon?
Are you coming to Texas to see me?
That would be a humongous road trip. We're going to Zion and
Oh,
Bryce
that's still
Canyon.
fun. That's still fun.
Oh,
I'll
it's
allow
really
it.
fun.
I know, that's gonna be really beautiful.
But
Oh my
like,
gosh, you're
oh
gonna
my
get to
gosh,
touch.
Julie.
You're gonna get to touch so much dirt. I'm so excited for you. Okay, sorry. I need to pause.
I'm laughing at Teresa, but I'm also really like, I looked up right as like the cat was like,
No, he is psychotic because there is a cat named Bumble that comes like outside, and he's just become completely obsessed with him. Like he attacks me for like 3 hours a day until I like open the windows. But anyways.
that made me really happy. I'm not okay. That's so good. I'm glad I caught it on a video recording. Okay, wait. So anyway, yes, Teresa, yes, that's one of the big things. I know I can't take any from the national parks, but hello, everything around there is like bright red, bright orange, bright ochre. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I totally believe in the protect. Like if everyone was like me and took one little rock, you know what I mean? But I will 100% stand
I do
out.
respect that. I do respect that.
I'll stand on
But
the
you'll
border.
stand like right outside the
Right.
sign and be like,
Yeah, like I'll be in the park and take one just from outside the park. Like I will 100%. Yes, so that's true. Okay, I want one more share and tell show about what you want so bad. Cause see, I want to like, I know I took it to the extreme, but I'm an extremist. Like, I know that it's like, oh, wow, you really want to get out and be able to move your body and hike and do the things, but you have this big workload. Oh, let's road trip. And that's like, obviously not optional, but in that way, or in the way that Kelly is totally going to make herself the best bevy, or something to integrate some calm and some peace. Y'all, tell me, what is a thing that you feel like you're desperate for right now? Nothing that has to do with growth, work, Instagram, none of that. It's your internal wants/needs.
don't ask though, because like I told you I'm fragile.
It's
I
okay,
can't
you can
handle
be
it.
fragile.
I
You
can't
can.
handle it.
It's okay. It's really okay.
I had my cousin this week like come at me and just tell me all these horrible things that are like untrue about me as like a character, as a person, like that all I spread is hate and anger, and that I'm pushing everyone away from me, and that no one in my family wants anything to do with me. And I've destroyed my connection with my whole family of origin. Because I made a post on my Instagram stories after the 49ers won a football game about my husband being a mediocre man. And she texted me. She doesn't have social media. So I woke up in the morning and I was like, that's a silly story. I'm deleting it. It's not important. At 6 p.m. that night, she texts me and just says, I don't think Gary is mediocre. And I was like, one, you don't have social media. Like, what are you talking about? Two, you haven't talked to me in months and this is what you're texting me. And I was like, that's fine. It was a joke. And then she just went at me about how horrible I am. So I just need people to tell me I'm not horrible.
Yeah, you're not horrible. Also,
And I know that.
I know you know that.
Teresa, I think that speaks volumes about your cousin and nothing about you.
Yeah.
Totally.
And honestly, when you started saying that someone told you that you spread hate, I couldn't help but laugh because that's the furthest
Is
thing
she
away.
laughing or crying?
I was laughing. I was like, oh, Teresa spreading hate?
Right? That's what I was
Like
thinking.
that's the most made up thing.
Yeah,
I
and
have
that's
heard
why
in a
I'm
very
just
long
like,
time.
I know that she's like going through something obviously to like come at me like this, but it hurts just because I have
Well,
a very rocky relationship with my extended family.
yeah, which doesn't help because there's already so many layers of just
Well,
like,
she told me that 2 people from my family sent her screenshots of my Instagram stories. And this isn't the first time that people from my family have sent her screenshots from my social media. And that it's not a good look.
for who? It
For
sounds like it's
me.
not a good look for them because
Yeah. She was very upset that I called my husband a mediocre white guy.
Was your husband upset about that?
He thinks it's hilarious.
Well, there you
There you
go. That's I think that's all the validation you need.
I know.
If someone, even if it doesn't matter if it's your family or not, they're not, they decide that they want to feel offended on behalf of someone else that's not even offended in the first place, then that's kind of their problem.
Listen, Teresa, I'm your cousin now, so we're cousins. Okay.
Deal. You're way better.
Thank you. Because my cousins think I'm super weird. So this works out.
Where are all you guys getting these cousins and why are they even there?
And why does it like, and that's what my husband was saying too, like my life hasn't changed at all since that text message because we don't interact with her in real life. Like, so
right.
my life
But it's
isn't
still
changing.
like, I mean,
but
that's
then
very, it still doesn't help that that was like a very personal attack. Like that, it was very about your character. And if
Yeah.
like, it's also already a relationship. Thank you.
I can't say it.
Say it again.
You were trying tumultuous. You were trying to combine turbulent and tumultuous together,
Thank you.
which is why you
I
can.
sure was. Thank you. Tumultuous. How much easier is it when you don't put tul and tur? Relationship, which doesn't make that any easier. So I totally understand feeling the feels and like that's not going to go away. That's just the way that it is. So it's like, okay, not to be a silver lining fixer, but since that was the prompting question, what are you desperate for after having that interaction?
Well, so like, I know how I'm going to fix it. Well, not fix it because forget her and all of them.
Yeah.
But like, that same day, two people that I'm like new friends with told me how genuine and nice I am. And so like if that's their first impression right away, then obviously I don't spread hate, anger.
That's like the honestly, Teresa, that's like the most ridiculous thing I have heard in a while, that you spread hate.
I'm also vile, so
Oh, of course. Well, that
Um,
goes with together with spreading hate. It's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
prerequisite.
And then I know that tonight is Flock Social, so that's gonna be being around my people and just, you know, saying I need support, even though it's hard and vulnerable. And
That's,
Teresa,
I mean, that's good though.
sorry. Oh, sorry, Peggy.
You're fine.
Sometimes what we have in our hearts, it's what we see in other people. So maybe she's the hateful one and she spreads hate and she just wants to see other people in her same situation without realizing she is that person. So maybe like don't get too don't think about that a lot. Like Elena said, if your husband said it's okay and he found it funny, like that's the only person that matters right now, because it was a comment towards him. And we all have ridiculous cousins. Like I had a cousin that she ranted about me because I didn't invite her kids to my wedding. And I was like, weddings are not for kids, not in my country at least, and not in a formal and nightgown type of way. So she ranted about it, and she said that if people doesn't want her kids with her in an event, then she just like she made a fool of herself, and everyone saw that. So don't worry about it. We all have, as I said, ridiculous cousins, and it's not your fault.
I appreciate that. Truly,
That's
I do.
not to bring it back to the internet or anything, but the same thing goes for that. Like, think about how many people, okay, first of all, think about how many people have like a not so desirable comment show up on something. And then how many times you click on that person's thing to see what's going on, and how many, the percentage, are a private profile. I mean, it speaks so loud. So there's a lot of stuff going on within us. And it's like, at the end of the day, we're all just scared. We're all threatened. We all feel insecure, and some of us more so. And in order to, I mean, some of us have really bad coping mechanisms. And so we lash out to make ourselves feel like we aren't so bad after all. And it's just like, this is the thing I wish they would teach kids in school, because I don't know if anyone's ever gone through DBT. I guess it's similar to CBT. I've never done it, but DBT. Yeah.
I went through CBT, but
I think it's real similar.
mhm.
I just think like the tools to be able to process our emotions and our reactions, physical, mental, emotional, it's just night and day when we have those coping skills. Because look at how many of us as adults have big time issues.
I mean, when I'm helping my son with a tantrum, it makes me realize that I also have to help myself through the
Oh, we all
freaking
do.
tantrum.
Yeah. I mean, like we all do, but I'm thinking like,
But no,
some
just
of
like showing like the like emotional process of like the right way to like go through things, you know, like be like, it's okay to be upset, but we don't hit and like
Yeah.
things like that.
I have we were talking in the Skillshare group yesterday about like how Instagram is, I don't know if you guys have creator accounts, but you've seen probably that they're doing this new subscription model. And so Skillshare, the topic last week, or yeah, this week, I guess, was like what everybody thinks about it, and if they think it's going to be good for their business, and if they think it's going to help them generate more income, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm in here like, I'm like the worst because I just chime in when I've got a strong anti-opinion. So I'm like, yeah, to be honest, like it's all this stuff is just making me want to use Instagram less and less. And then it started a legit thread. Like people aren't like, yeah, I could see how this is how I should do this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you don't should anything. Instagram, like what's her name? Taylor, she's a top teacher. She was like, I don't know her last name, but she was like, Instagram, didn't you get the memo that you're like not supposed to try to be like everybody else and that maybe there's a thing of niching because you're getting embarrassing? And it was so true because that's what's happening. But what was my point about this? Oh, there was a point. Oh my gosh, it was so relevant and I just took it somewhere. that
How
was not.
lame people on the internet and social media are.
I know, but I don't know how it tied into that.
I
But
know.
specifically, I was going to say something about YouTube. And you guys, the YouTube comments are like real and real ugly. I don't know if you've ever had them. The pigeon letters, YouTube gets them not super often, but often enough. Lena, how many times? Probably like maybe twice a month, not too much, that I send you something. I'm like, can you remove this one?
Yeah, it's not often, to be fair, but when they do come up, it's like there is no need to type that. Like there is no
They're
need
like-
to spend 15 seconds typing what you just typed.
Like super
Oh my
harsh.
gosh. I was just thinking about this because I owe you like a billion tutorials, but that's fine. I'm working on it. But I was editing it and I was like
Witnessing a
Look-
murder.
looking at my it's the woman that works for me, it's Lillian. I was looking at my fingernails and I was just like, oh, I should have done my nails. People are gonna comment about how gross my nails look. So be on the lookout for that. You're welcome.
They will too. Like it's not just what we say. And you know what? If your nails are done, they're going to comment about them then too. So who cares? And they're always behind blocked profiles. Like someone will say that it might be about your appearance. It might be about your technique. It might be about you rambling about something, or it might be about how it's too fast and it needs to be slowed down, or you need to take longer. Like everything that has to do with how you present yourself, like take stuff and just you determine what's constructive criticism, not somebody else. And you determine what you want to try or sample or weave in or experiment with or not, or you can leave it. So that's the thing, you know, when I'm teaching classes, I have integrated a way to enunciate more because I know I'm a really quick talker. And so I do come across, and somehow it's natural for me to just move my mouth a little bit wider so that I can enunciate as I speak really fast because I'm not going to slow down. So it's just like we do what we want. We take what we want. But I am segueing into business stuff based off of that. But it's the same thing, you know?
No, I appreciate you guys listening and just being my friends and being amazing.
Well, yeah, always. And
Thank you.
I will just, if everyone could just take a moment to tell Teresa verbally that she is not, what was the word?
You're not
Vile?
old.
You're not
all-
vile. You don't spread hatred. You're not awful. In
I
fact,
think Alina's reaction just like is what I'm just gonna keep in my.
yeah.
Just
I'll
think of how
replay that
how
part of the video
ridiculous.
of the recording.
Yeah, just think of how ridiculous those words are, because you're probably, out of everyone that I follow and that frequently comes up in my stories and stuff, you're probably one of the most cheerful people.
Mhm.
So
I mean,
And
I
if it's
try
not
to
like,
be.
even when you
And it's-
come across more serious, like you just have this underlying Enneagram 7 that comes out. Are you an Enneagram 7?
Yes, Peggy. Of course I am.
I know, like there, it's
Like-
not possible for you to be anything else.
It's not possible for anything in my life to happen and it not somehow weirdly be connected to you in the end. It's getting freaky at this point.
'Cause
Okay,
you guys,
let's talk about this stuff. Yeah.
I invented the Enneagram, just so you know. Okay, listen, what we're gonna do a hard shift, but it's still relevant because it's Teresa was asking, and I think it's a great topic. So I wanted to talk to y'all about, and I was actually interested to hearing from you as the answer. So I will be a facilitator here and then chime in. Teresa, sorry, it doesn't matter. The point, I'm like, Teresa asked, no, it's not what Teresa needs to know. It's a great question, which is, how do you guys, or do you feel, or like not suggestions, but I'd love to hear from everybody, your process, your thoughts and your hesitations, etc., around quote product placement within your blog posts. Specifically, it could also kind of like carry over into captions on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, all the things, probably not Pinterest, but you know what I mean? Those types of places, so that it doesn't sound salesy, so that it doesn't sound like, you know, or so it's organic, and so it's going to actually create the desire to click. So those types of things. So I would love to hear from everybody, your thoughts, your process, your hesitations, all the things, and I will chime in. Your experiences is mostly what I'm going for. On the spot, do I have to call you out?
Well, I'll say something that's kind of related. I don't think it's exactly what you're looking for, but we had a meeting with Liz Kohler Brown, Peggy within the flock, and she was talking about ask, sell. So you give away roughly 2/3 of the time, and then the rest of the time you're selling. And so I think that automatically would make it feel a lot better, because we are all giving so much for free. But I realize that I feel like I'm rarely asking, that I'm just giving. Like I have my skills, like I'm not selling. I just don't. It's harder for me.
I think it's hard
it's
for
boring.
everyone.
It feels boring.
So yeah, so I think that because it's hard for everyone, that's a great thing to keep in mind. And I'm just, for the sake of credit where credit's due, Liz had brought that up after hearing it from Bonnie Christine, which, by the way, if you're in the flock, you guys are all in the flock. We're going to be chatting with her on the 3rd, Bonnie Christine. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, it's when you want to do this and it feels salesy, even if it is a hard product insert, which obviously is not the most organic way, it's a matter of mindset, I think, that gets in the way most of the time. So if you can just remind yourself, wait a minute, am I providing value? So it's value-based marketing. Am I providing value in this? Is the ratio more value than it is, hey, buy this? Yeah, cool, then you're good. But so that is a great point. I actually think it's the perfect intro to getting into more like detail and ideas. So no, Kelly, I really like that you brought that up. Teresa, let's hear your thoughts about that and what you think about it.
I mean, like, I'm the one that asked the question, so obviously I don't know. I mean, I know how to do it, right? Because I've researched everything.
You are just,
have
I
not-
think that maybe, I know that you know, and so I think that maybe, and this will be the case for everybody, is like, it's all a mindset hesitancy.
Well, so like, I have all of these videos now that I can repurpose and put on my own YouTube and put on my own blog and recommend your products and have the affiliate stuff. So like, obviously I'm comfortable with our relationship and I don't feel salesy when I'm like, oh yeah, here, it's a link for this. But I was just more curious about, like, I guess you do have that pitch thing in the flock that I can take a look at.
Well, no, I want to talk it out. I just wanted
Yeah.
to, I
Yeah.
like talking about processes rather than just like pointing in a resource, just because I think that's where like the light bulbs go off.
No, totally. But like Artistro, is that their name? They sent me this watercolor palette thing to review, and
Mhm.
I'm like frozen on like how to do it, which is now that I'm talking it out, I'm like, that's so silly. Like I just make a video using the thing and put the link on it. Like, why are you being so silly? But I mean, like, you know, there's brands that I could help lift up because I'm already using their stuff.
Mhm.
And I just want to make sure that, I don't know. I don't know. You
another
do it very
thing-
well. I don't feel like whenever you sell to us, like even like in a flop call and you're like, oh yeah, here's this Amazon link. I know what you're doing. You're getting money. And like, that's awesome and amazing because you're the one that vetted it. You're the one that tried it out. Like you spent all of this time, like making sure
You
that
know-
it's a product that you recommend.
You
But,
know
like,
what makes it even easier, Teresa, is when you're
I don't
like
wanna
straight
just-
up and you're like, oh, also like, or just so everybody knows, if I drop a link, it's probably an affiliate link. That doesn't mean it's more expensive for you, but hey, you're helping me because I resourced it, or like, you know, whatever you want to say. Because also
Yeah,
that
I just want to
on
I want to make sure, or I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to not just point everyone to Amazon.
I
Like,
know, but that's the easiest.
I know, but it's just like, ew.
Okay,
But then like,
have
then you
you-
have to do the work to like contact the brands and like do all that stuff.
yes. So it will be more
Yeah.
time consuming, and it will
Okay.
be hard because a lot of these affiliate programs will like basically cancel you, not you, but cancel your account if you're not like referring every 90 days or so. And honestly, like 90 days is a very short time frame because like look at like 90 days goes by so fast. Like what if we don't have time to you know what I mean? So it's like you have to be like basically an ambassador for people in order for that to carry. But so okay, throughout process, you know how like when you're doing a tutorial of some kind or when you're doing a blog post and you just like, you know how sometimes we repeat ourselves a little bit, like either as a reminder or as like a, and you can see I'm just doing this. That's an opportunity to say another thing that I like about this X is blah, blah, blah. And that's just as you're doing it, because you know people are working along with you. If it's a blog post, it's just a simple mention of another thing I love about this is blank. And then when you say that, another thing I like about, and it's hyperlinked, is blank. So you're just being an organic conversationalist and inserting links. And then you could have like hard photo product, like insertions, if you will. Alina, can you see if the blog site is working on your end? Pigeon Letters blog.
Kajabi is in general crashing on me at the moment.
Okay, so it's a Kajabi thing. Cool. I was gonna
I've
pull
been
up.
trying to load a page for ages.
Yeah. All right. I was gonna pull up an example, but I'm like, that's not happening, and I don't know why.
I was
but yeah,
just gonna say, yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
Kidding.
No, please.
Just hearing you talk about that, Teresa, I can feel it in my body how I feel when it comes to like recommending something that maybe I don't use all the time. And I guess to me it feels like one thing I feel with Peggy is it feels very authentic. Like I'm excited to share something that I use and that I really like. It doesn't even feel weird to say go buy it here. Oh, and I also get it. Like that doesn't feel weird if it's something like I really enjoy using. But yeah, if it's something I've never used before and I don't really use it in my product, in my process, then it doesn't feel authentic. So I don't know if that maybe like you get something new and you spend more time with it before you are able to really recommend how you really enjoy it. But it feels like if it's something I really like, then that helps to come from a place of like, I like to tell people all the things that I like all the time, just in person, like, oh, I love this, go buy these water, go get this, so it feels natural in that way. Even if you have to do that extra stuff, so you have it already and you have the links and stuff like that. But if it's something you really like, yeah, it's just
such a
kind of
good point.
connecting with the authenticity of that. But
It's such a good
Yeah.
point. Because I just did one. I don't have a lot of time, but I still like to do collaborations, especially with reputable brands that I know other people do like. Full transparency, I just did a collaboration with Archer and Olive, and I was like, I've never used any of this stuff, but I filmed it as I was trying it for the first time, so I hadn't before. I think I might have mentioned that. I'm not sure. Some of these videos I'll say now, this is the first time we're doing this together, which helped me a lot because it helped me be a lot like the authenticity. I'm like, oh, okay, I see this and this and this. And you don't have to be wowed by a product. You can say, okay, so this is, I'm noticing that this is this, that's pretty cool. I do like that. It kind of reminds me of this, but more like this, I know that that's vague, but that's another way to do it. And that way it's more of a product review, maybe during a tutorial or during a watch me paint or whatever you want to do, because that's the value, but then you're also reviewing. And so that part's more organic because it's not just like, here's this unboxing, even though like I do that too. But that was the thing because I was short on time and I'm like, that's okay. Like people, I've just been able to show up more. Thank you for saying that. The authentic part, that wasn't easy in the first 2 years, 3 years, sometimes even now. I think I've just gotten more comfortable, and I think that's the case for everybody. Like Teresa, you're gonna just start feeling more comfortable doing stuff like that, and then it'll be kind of effortless, and you'll just like turn on your camera and start, and it'll still feel like, or something might not work the way you want it to because you didn't try it beforehand, which happens to me a lot. In which case, I'm like, oh, okay, I have to re-edit this whole thing, or take this chunk out and make this freaking paint pen work properly, and then I'd have to like pause my recording, redraw everything I just drew so that it's done. I'm not going to redo that recording. I'm just going to weave it. And then like, it's a thing. So if you're short on time, like I am, that's kind of how I tackle that so that people know like, hey, this is my first time too.
That's really helpful too, just to hear that process when like I mess up during like when I'm trying to do a tutorial. Like I didn't even think about like, well, yeah, I don't have to re-record the whole thing.
Because you're confident in what you've done so far. And like, to be honest with you, nobody's going to know if it doesn't, like if you're like, what's it called? Your jump frame or whatever, they're not going to like pay close attention. Like that's a different flower now. What, like nobody's going to know that. You're still going through the technique.
That was a good nugget. That was good.
Thanks. They just come up, like that's the thing. That's the gem
I mean,
part.
it's because you're a genius.
No, but I wouldn't have thought to say that. But now I'm going to stick that in my pocket and pull it into CC Lab so that people think I'm smarter than I am. Also showing up, letting people know that you're not as smart as they think you are. That's helpful. Word vomit, just word vomit. People might like it and they might hate it, but a lot of people will like it. And that's cool. Thanks guys for liking me. The other part is, this is what I was going to say. One of the things, and I think I have something in the flock about this, I might not, I feel like I do, but if I don't, either way, I mean, I can't assume you guys have digested all the information everywhere always, except for Teresa, but so she'll know if I have this up or not. I'm just kidding. Link Ninja.
Between me and Alina, I think that, yeah, we know.
Have you heard of Reward Style? It's like, okay, so have you heard of the Like to Know It app on our, like when we felt like look at like fashion Instagrammers and like, oh, it's in my Like to Know It. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know how to search that. So I don't actually know if this is related. I think it is. I don't remember, but a long, long time ago, once upon a time, I looked into it because I'm like, well, maybe there's going to be something in here I might recommend sometime. And like, it doesn't hurt to be an affiliate for everything whenever I mention a link. So I looked at Reward Style, and while it is catered to apparel and accessories and whatnot, it also works for places like Best Buy. So if you're like recommending a camera, and I'm going to show you how easy this is. Ooh, oh, lots of tabs. Is this the right one? Yeah, it is. Oh, there was like 50 things going on just there. I'm like, which one is it going to be? Do you see this right here? Link Ninja. Okay, so check it out. So let's say I want to, instead of go to Amazon, I want to look up my printer, or the one that I recommend. So Epson Perfection. Nope, Epson. What is it called? Epson. I'm just going to look up XP 15,000 because I know it'll come up. And I don't want to send somebody to Amazon. So I see it's on Dell, B&H, Adorama, but maybe I know, like, not all of these companies work with Reward Style or Link Ninja, but I know that Best Buy does. So I can go to Best Buy, and all I need to do is click on Link Ninja, and it automatically in my browser generates an affiliate link right here. And it'll also tell you how much. Sometimes this one says variable, but sometimes it'll tell you exactly what the amount will be that you make, and you just say get link, and that's it. And then it generates a bit. I chose a bit.ly link, but you can have it choose like a different style when you set up. But see this bit.ly link I just put in? Like it just, you copy it and then that's where you put it. So it doesn't work for everything. But like it might work for, like, I don't know, some art supply stores, like, I don't think it does for Blick, but you know, just stuff like that. It doesn't hurt to have it, a button in your browser that you can just press just to see. I do it for everything. And then like, I did it for Archer and Olive before I saw that they do have an affiliate program, which is very strict, by the way, in case you were wondering. I did try it, and this is what comes up when they don't have it. It says it's not eligible, but then you can request brand. I've never seen this go through, but it's literally a click of a button. See supported brands, like you're going to see a ton of stuff, but this is what, oh, it is the like to know it thing, which is now LTK. Okay, so it's their creator platform. So it's maybe not Reward Style, but LTK. So anyway, yeah, it's catered around apparel.
Hip, and you didn't even know it.
I know, right?
Is this
I'm
like
so cool?
Is this
And then I can
like share a sale?
It's not share a sale, but I'm glad you brought that up because I'll show you. If for those who don't know about share a sale, so share a sale.
At one point, okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that like at one point I signed up for share a sale, but I never really figured out how to use it. So
okay,
yeah,
I'll be happy to help.
Awesome.
So like chances, I don't use share a sale a ton. I'm pretty sure this is probably all from Crafters Box. I also think, new program invitations for me. Oh, it looks like Tailwind. So, okay, here's how it works. You log into Share a Sale as an affiliate, and then you can look at merchants and you can say search for merchants. Share a Sale is, the thing about it is they might have a browser button now that I think about it and I don't know about it. But either way, I don't like to use it because I have to go into stuff. But let me show you what I do that will short key everything so I don't have to keep logging in. So I have a board on Airtable, which you could do any spreadsheet, where I have all my affiliate stuff. So I have my supplies, and a lot of these are Amazon. I've got classes, so my referral links for classes, and then programs. And so this is where a lot of the share a sale stuff will come in, or unique stuff. So share a sale for Crafters Box. There's just going to be, I don't know, but anyway, stuff like that. So I have it all there, quick links for all the miscellaneous things. Oh yeah, that I just added that, Alina. So we'll have quick links. I forgot about it. So maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't, but I put it under that board. And then I have one for design cuts specifically for brush packs that I bring up all the time. So they're just there, but this is how I set up my board, and you can download this app or use like any sort of spreadsheet and then have it in the cloud. And then you can have it on your phone if you're pulling up like a swipe up in your stories or something. And then you just have links. You don't have to log into anything. So that being said, that's an organizational thing. When it comes to share a sale, which will be more effective for us as what we do versus what I just showed you, which is this, which will make this Link Ninja. I just like that it's a button. I guarantee you, Alina, will you see if Share a Sale has a browser button while we're talking?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. So what you see here is they have featured categories. They have all this stuff. So basically a company will join Share a Sale as a merchant. And then affiliates will join Share a Sale as affiliates, and then they apply to those programs individually. So I have plenty of declines where I haven't been approved, and then I have some where I have been, but like Blick, this is where Blick is. So you're gonna find, maybe it's under Dick Blick. No, it was there. Blick, that's where you're going to find that program. And they also, so see, I think that they are kind of, what does this mean? Oh, who cares? Strict, I'm not really sure. I applied one time and then I don't think I followed through, and that was the reason why. But anyway, this is what it looks like. You go to merchants, you can search. If it's here, it's here. A lot of referral sites, like if I go to Blick's website and or if I look up like Blick art supplies, oh my gosh, this is how I usually search for things to see if they have one. So I just look up where it is, affiliate program, and then there's usually a link for it. You go to the link and then it tells you how to do it. So you say join now, and then it's going to take me to, oh, so this is interesting because this actually would make sense why I wasn't approved recently. So this is taking us to CJ, which is similar to Share a Sale, and it's not Share a Sale. That makes a lot of sense actually. So CJ affiliate is another one that you might want to get into. I thought I was in here already. I pressed login.
Well, you're looking at that, Peggy. It doesn't seem to be a button for a Share a Sale.
Okay, so I would join, like just join programs that you want to join and then copy links. So I want to show you what it looks like though, because I think the confusion for Share a Sale comes from generating links, Myra, right? Maybe. So all you need to do once you're part of a program is go to links, get a link or banner. And these are the ones that I'm a part of, or I guess recently joined. So I have, not recently, I'm like, I don't even remember that. So I have Tailwind, which I love, the Crafters Box, and Namecheap. And I just did that so that I had an affiliate link for CC Lab, because that's where I use vanity URLs, because they're like $8 a year. So if you guys ever want a vanity URL, which is your domain, like thepigeonletters.com, and let's say it like goes somewhere else, but you want to have like, go to creativecourselab.com. Well, if you go to creativecourselab.com, it's going to go to thepigeonletters.com/cclab or something like that. Anyway, that's where I buy domains and then reroute, but you can buy your actual, it doesn't matter. Getting off track. So let's say I want to generate a link. So I'd say get link, and then they have like a general one and they have code. This is what a lot of people get confused about, because it's like, okay, well, I don't want an HTML code. I just want a link. Well, your link is right up here, and you can say copy merchant default link to clipboard. However, if you are recommending a particular product, then that doesn't help, because this is just going to go to their main site. So if you want to create a custom link, you can go to create a custom link. I don't like the way this is laid out, because it almost looks like a timeline, like you have to complete these steps. So I think that's also a big part of confusion. But create a link. So the Crafters Box, for example, let's say I wanted to promote a particular workshop like this one. So I just take that link and then go into, Share a Sale, paste that link and create custom link. So now it has it here, my custom link. It has my affiliate link as a part of it. You can say get short link, similar to Amazon, where you can shorten a link, and then it'll give you this short link if that helps, or if it's necessary. It's not in most cases now, but that's what you do. You use that link. And then if I use that link, I'll open this up in oh, you can't see my incognito. That's okay. I'll open it up in a regular one, paste in that link it gave me, and you can see that it goes to where I want it to go, but it also tracked my affiliate click. So if somebody buys that, then I will get a commission. So it's a lot simpler. It's just that their platform is a little confusing. Does that help? Okay.
Yes, it does. I'm trying to I'm picking up my kids from school and I'm trying
No,
to
you're
listen and doing
good.
other things, but it helps a lot. Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's how that works. And then what I recommend doing is like anything that you know that you're going to bring up more than once, like that workshop or a different one, or even just like a general link, is to have a spreadsheet somewhere where you can throw those links in. So Adobe, I'm going to expand this record. You can see that I've got the main link, but I also, under my notes, I have like, okay, if I want to throw in an HTML, here's the script, and I can put that in my website on like a sidebar. I also have this one. I could do that. But the other thing I like to do instead of that, because I don't know if they're going to end up changing those HTML codes, you know, because sometimes they'll like change them and they're generated into different images. So the other thing I like to do is, let's say it's Backblaze. I actually upload attachments that are images. So those images are what I'm going to end up using when I want to. So let's say I'm doing a blog post, I'm talking about storage, I'm talking about this experience where everything crashed, blah, 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 but I love Backblaze because now I don't have to worry about it. So I have the images here that I took from their assets just as like a banner to put in. And then I have my specific link, so I can upload the image and then put my link on the image, and then or like on a button or whatever. And it makes it a lot easier. So I like doing it that way. And that way I have control over the image size and whatever. I can also make my own images and then do my affiliate link to that. So you'll see kind of how that works. That's what I like to do. That way you don't have to keep logging in. But if you do need to log in, that's how to create custom links. Oh, I took them yesterday. Thank you so much. But if you're not leaving, are you leaving right this second? Okay, no, thank you. That's very kind of you to ask. We have a load going to the post office, and we were getting asked if we needed to contribute to anything outgoing. But I do, but I don't have them ready to go. Fancy that. So any questions about that? Is that helpful a little bit? And that way,
Yes, that was really helpful.
Cool. And that way you don't have to go around. And I hope that my balance helps you guys to understand that, like, if you're spread real thin all over the place, like, it's not, you don't make a ton of money, but it does help to have it in there because dollars count, right? So when you get a random $100, once you get to a threshold or whatever, that's another $100. Like, cool, thank you. And I noticed that when I do get paid out from like YouTube views or whatever, it's like, I'm not on that because it's not my primary thing. But when I do see it, when I'm doing like QuickBooks or whatever, I'm like, oh, that's helpful, isn't it? All those little things add up. I do recommend doing that. It doesn't get time consuming once you're established. But the part that's annoying about Share a Sale or CJ affiliates is that you do have to apply to each and every program. Whereas LTK, previously Like to Know It /reward style ? Has that browser button, and you can literally, like, it's logged in as you, and that's great. I'm lazy. I'm not lazy. I just have very limited time. And so I just want things to be accessible, which is why I also say have a spreadsheet. It will save your life to have a quick link spreadsheet that you can open up on your phone or on computer. Now, back to case in point. I do have an account. That's so weird. I'll have to look into it. But otherwise,
I have a question that's
Yeah.
semi-related,
okay.
but kind of not. But this conversation reminded me of it. So I was recently asked to, like, what's the word? When you're like, oh yeah, this program's really great, and they come on camera and like do the webinar thing and whatever. Like, you know, like, oh, you went through B school with Amy Porterfield and you learned all this stuff, and Amy Porterfield's gonna interview you. And I like moved away from that sort of realm, and I haven't had time to do research to see if the correct work has been done, how would you go about handling that situation?
When you say the correct work has been done, so I know what the ask is, because this is like, it's not new, but it's like in the last 5-ish years, it's a very hard push as a marketing technique. In fact, I will be integrating that because it's great. There's nothing like a video testimonial. And when you're like talking, it's so much more organic to hear what people are saying about things. So it's great. And it's not always used, just FYI. So don't think that like you have to be on spot. But when you say you're not, like, basically lack of preparation, what is that in regard to?
So there was a lot of controversy about B School and how non-diverse the teaching is and how it's applied. And so because I guess I'm answering my own question then, because I haven't taken it again since these quote unquote changes have been implemented.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know if I can be like, oh yay, this is great.
It's such a, you don't have to, you can just say no.
Okay. Yeah, I
Think
know.
about this. How does
That's
it benefit,
true.
like, how does it benefit you?
Well, the only way that it benefits me is I get to tell my story and maybe I'll get like 1 follower, which means nothing really.
So
Yeah, maybe.
here's how
I'll
this
just say
works.
no.
People will, she might have talked about this in B School, I don't know, I've never taken it, but when it comes to marketing and testimonials, FYI, are one of the absolute best marketing tools that you can have. And I'm talking like not copy pasting, not making it a pretty graphic, like straight up screenshots and raw video from people. Like those are your gold. So anything you want to promote ever, and maybe it hasn't launched yet, you can use testimonials about general stuff, or you can use testimonials specific if you're relaunching, or if it's like, if it's relevant, basically. So it is the gold. Now, when it comes to this type of thing, which is when a program is over, a lot of people will ask you, hey, thanks for taking this. I hope it was wonderful, blah, blah, blah. We'd love to invite you to interview you, to hear your story, blah, blah, blah. And it is very personal to the recipient. However, I want you to really keep in mind, even when I send them out to you guys for anything, that this is a marketing tool. So some people might genuinely want to be invested and hear that. They will also use it for marketing. Some people, it is strictly a strategy. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's actually great because it creates connection, and I think it keeps people who are in this industry grounded to speak to real people and not just be on this high horse. But I'm not saying that about her. I don't know anything about her. But what I am saying is, if you agree to do an interview of some kind like this, it is not that you get to share anything. It is not guaranteed that it will be posted. And if it is going to be posted, it will most likely be a snippet, maybe 20 minutes, and it will be very relevant to the product. Not so much. I mean, it will be relevant to you because it will be about your growth because of the product. So that's what people are looking for in these testimonials or interviews. They're looking for that gold of where you can say, this is where I was before, after doing this program or after doing this, whatever, this is where I am now. And this is what is lined up for me moving forward. So that is the purpose, the core purpose of what this is. I'm not talking shit about it because I do believe in this formula. I love it, but I just am saying that to you, like, if there's controversy, if it doesn't feel like it aligns with your values, at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot in it for you, if anything. So yeah, people might see you and they might look you up, but they're looking you up most of the time, because I've done this, to see where you're at now, because they want to see if the program that they want to invest in is worth it. Does that make sense? Where you can see like, oh, my business did $50,000 in 3 months. And then you click on it and you see somebody has like a really crappy, like, or they don't, you know, or they don't have a link to, I don't know. It's just that kind of stuff. So
No, totally. That really helps.
Yeah.
Also, I will do a testimonial for you anytime. Thank you for asking.
But you guys know I'm like actually really invested in things. But I mean, it's still good to know, like, and it's good to know that it is a very good way to connect with your people, keep you grounded, and get legit like testimonials. And it's like, you know, it's like let's see, it's like taking a student project from a class, or let's say somebody did your tutorial from YouTube and then they share it. It's like sharing that. It's like resharing it. That's like, but it's doing that on a very grand scale. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
just gonna be honored that they sought me out to ask after all of these years, because I did it for her right before the pandemic started. And like, I was so excited that I cried. And then now I got this like email and I'm like, I don't even know if this is something that I want to do. So that feels really nice.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of these emails after an allotted period of time are in an automation.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I can still stroke my own ego, Peggy.
Totally. Which, Alina, I want to
Why are
line
you
that up.
why are you trying to be a party pooper? Every party has a pooper. That's why we invited. Sorry, I'm taking it off
Oh
topic
my gosh.
per usual.
I am. Alina, will you write a note to tell me to do an automation that will invite that too? Thank you. I'm actually serious. I forget this stuff. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that. I know all about it. It's just time. But I do. I think they're really valuable. And they are more organic than like some of you might have at some point gotten me, like I've asked you to do a written testimonial, but some of you I've asked, like, would you do a video testimonial now, or if asked, which I appreciate all the things, and you have, and like I have those on the flock, for example. And
some of you will do a video and where you can't hear Peggy and Peggy can't hear you, but everyone else can hear everything.
Or you'll be asked to do a live.
Yeah, that.
Tell your story on a webinar, and then everyone can hear everything except for me. And then I'll just be like, what's going on? That was fun. Thanks for doing that, Teresa. That was really, really fun. Which brings me to like live launches. I'm not so sure how I feel about them. Or not live launches, but webinars for live launches. I think that, no, that's not true. I do like them. You have to market them really well. So don't think that you can throw up a link and say, I'm having a free webinar on this, and then everyone's going to like bite. That's not how it works. You have to like market it. But
you did a really good job with yours.
I did not with the flock, but I did with Creative Course Lab. I feel like we're always learning about marketing, all the things. But I did a very layered combo marketing, which this might help you guys to hear for anything that you want to launch. It doesn't matter if it's high ticket or low ticket, you can find little bits and pieces to do. But like, let's say you have your staple product and then you want it to do well. And like, there is such a thing as marketing that staple product, but what entry level thing, whether it be freebie or whether it be like literally entry level, and then they work through that thing and then there's an upsell, what will lead them to that that's more enticing for them right now with instant gratification right now. So I did that with CC Lab, where I did just one, I can't remember, 1 or 2 webinars. I think it was just one. I did a webinar that was live, and was it live? No, I think
Pre-recorded.
Okay. And then I just launched it at a certain time. Okay. So I pre-recorded it and launched it at a certain, I don't know if I like doing that, but it is a thing where you can get it out of the way. You know, your presentation is solid. Oh yeah, I definitely remember it now. Which is like great. If you guys ever want to watch it, I'm happy to give you the link so that you can see how that was structured. They are your typical webinar. You're going 40 minutes with all the value, and then you're pitching for 20, but you can make it so that that pitch is still helpful. But they are effective. But the other part of it, hold on, Teresa. The first one that I launched was a challenge, which I thought would be much more engaging because you want engagement. And the reason you want engagement for anything that you do is because then people will see instant results. So whatever it is that you're putting out that will provide instant results, you want it to be just as valuable as the class or as the whatever product it is that you're putting out. So if you're launching a product-based thing, whatever you're leading people into that, you want engagement from them. So how can you weave engagement in? And then, so I did a challenge, and it was like 4 days of here's these mini lessons and here's your work, and you need to do the thing and you just show up. And if you show up, you could win this thing. So I had daily prizes, the free challenge. In 4 days, you're going to go from here to here. And it's playing on like where you're at, where you want to be. People loved it. And some people have gone on to launch classes based off of my free challenge. That makes me really happy. I'm stoked. I'm not even mad they didn't enroll. But the big thing was this class that I put out, this program, it's not a class, it's like a program, is it dives into like little tiny things that weave in, and like there's so much more layered that will build a foundation for the psychology of how people create courses. And so that was my pitch basically after everything. It's like, you got this far, you've got like your pillars or your foundation, but now it's time to take that further. Now that you have that, let's figure out how we can like really work with it. You can go from here. You do have something actionable, but if you want to dive deeper and really have that like done, it's like a done for you system that isn't done for you at all kind of thing. Like, so that's how I did that. And then for people who did not take the challenge, because I had an automation going so that the people that pulled into the challenge and participated were added to like a tag or a list or whatever within my emails. People who did not attend that, somehow a few people, even if they did attend it, somehow got the webinar link anyway. But for the most part, the idea was, for those who participated in the challenge did not get the link for the webinar, which a lot of people were like, what webinar? Like, I heard this person got, I didn't get an email, and it's like, well, it's basically the challenge.
I felt left out. Yeah.
I know,
I was
but
like,
here's the
what
thing.
am I missing?
The challenge was so much better. And
I
the
know.
webinar was literally basically the same thing, just with like, that was more beefed up because there was no way for people to do the work in the webinar. So I had two different, which is not necessary to have two different tactics, but I'm doing a lot of all the things all the time. And I also want to test things. So it was just kind of another push, like, oh, didn't get the challenge. Here's a masterclass that you can watch. And those were my two main pulls. It wasn't so much email marketing as much as that was like meant for reminders about something I was launching. This could be product-based. Or service-based or education-based, anything. So I had those two primary things and then pulled. So I marketed those things heavy. And then everything after those were reminders basically about what I've already pitched them with my voice and face after they've participated and been able to like get into the gritty about it. Does that make sense? So if you ever want to launch, it could be a set of Procreate brushes. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, how can you micro that strategy to where it's going to be beneficial for what it is that you're releasing? And I think that's like really, you don't have to think more into that. That's really all I mean, there are programs and whatnot that will tell you about like the process of marketing and the way that you can make it really effective. They cost thousands of dollars and they are worth it. Some of them. Live Launch Academy by The Social Bungalow is really good. I don't really like her structure on Facebook, like her Facebook groups, because I think that they are very spammy and they're really heavily tied to her like social media course bundle thing, which I've never taken, but like every single day. There are good hooks. If you guys aren't part of the social, Facebook, The Social Bungalow, if you're not part of that group, if you join it just to see how people, like, they are good hooks if you want a good hook for social. And I'm pretty sure they're probably coming from her course. I don't know, but like, let's see, posts from other people. What is this? Oh. Well, anyway, she goes live a lot, but people will go in like, oh, I created this 30-page bloody-do and I'm giving it to the first 50 people who want it before I launch it on X, who wants it. So it's going to drive engagement and market the thing. But like, it's basically, I can't find any of these posts. And I think it's, I don't know how Facebook works. That's my truth. But because I'm joined, like I'll see it pop up. I think I'm joined. Am I? I can't even know. I can't know now. Oh, I see. It's because I didn't actually go to the group and I just looked it up and it was like showing results for you guys. I feel very old right in this moment. Okay, so for example, it's literally like, if you look at the thread of the newly asked things from the community, like, you know, these people are going through some sort of program and they're like practicing in this space, but people actually still bite, which is interesting. And I think it's the people who still bite are people who are not part of the program, who don't know what's going on. And I'm just like totally dissecting this in my head. Like, I see what you're doing here. This is smart. Okay. But she's like a business person. So
It's genius.
right?
That is
Yeah.
really smart.
Yeah. And like, would anyone like to be featured on my blog post for tips and advice from fellow female entrepreneurs? Like, there's a lot of questions happening here that are general like this. But like, sometimes there's this big batch of, I just launched I'm about to launch a free, or no, I'm about to launch a paid program, but I want to give 30 female entrepreneurs, like they're specific to like the emotional thread, where I want to give 30 female entrepreneurs the resource first. So the first 30 people who reach out, I'm going to do that for. And it's a marketing thing because it's stirring engagement on that post. It's also marketing the thing. And people blow up the comments. They're like, yes, I want this. And then they can use testimonials from those people to do the actual marketing. It's brilliant. So anyway, this chick is smart. Some of this stuff is a little bit like, ooh, that's really intense and annoying, but some of it's like, that's a gem. So I started following her last year and I was like, it was last year now. So she's been, I mean, she gives a lot of free content and free like lives that are really valuable without signing up for stuff, but they are pitches into what she's doing. Anyway, sorry, that's a lot. I hope that's helpful somewhat. I love giving resources. And Teresa, tell me what you were gonna ask. I'm so glad you didn't forget, and hopefully this isn't new and that you didn't forget.
I tried so hard not to forget, and I'm so proud of myself that I did.
Okay, good.
What's another thing that we can call them besides webinars? Because I feel like, yeah, so I wrote that down.
Oh, okay. So tell me about the content that you would be putting in, because that will, I know webinar is a gross word. I mean, some people it's not gross, but I hate the word webinar too.
I don't like it either. And I feel like people that aren't in like entrepreneurial world, they're like, I'm not gonna use it. What's a webinar? Like this is just a word that you've made up and I have no idea what this even is.
Well, what do you want to do in a webinar?
Well, I don't know yet. It was just, you brought up a subject and then I had a question.
That's fair. I get that way. It depends on the content. So think about what's in the content. Like, for example,
so like if I wanted to get people to sign up for a watercolor class. Let's make it really personal, so then it'll be like personal coaching. Let's do it.
Okay, so what can you do in that webinar that is only a very small fraction and does not at all get, like, that gives a lot of value, but doesn't at all give away the class?
Okay, now that you say that, well, Teresa's thinking the answer. What would you do for a calligraphy course? Because I've been thinking of like finally doing my calligraphy course. And since you mentioned, webinars are really good, what would be something that I can do in a webinar that doesn't give away the class? So I'm asking you the question that Teresa is going to answer. Because I have no idea.
I like this better because then I like to not be the one that talks all the time.
No, I've got examples for both. They're not the only answer, but I have like instant examples. So, well, I have additional questions though, because it will really, really depend on what the content inside the course is. So Myra, when you say you want to do a calligraphy course, what does that entail? Will you be including flourishes? Will you be doing special effects? Or are you going to do basics? Like what is it going to look like? Or all of the above?
So that's my thing. That's what I'm trying to decide, because for one, I was thinking that it would be better just to do the basics. But I don't know if it would be better to add like flourishes, composition, like shadows and all those type of things. So that's what I'm getting, like overthinking it, because I don't know if it would be better just to, do the basics, the strokes, and then just help them just to write like simple things, or include something with the flourishes and all of that stuff, or include something like brush calligraphy or fall calligraphy, or you know what I mean? I get. That's
so
what
you're
I get
right now you're in the middle of determining like what's going to fit in with the existing content available to people to where it will stand out but be effective. And I get where you're at. I'm wondering, where do you want this to be a bite-sized class? Where do you want it to live online? Do you want it to be a program? Those types of things. So let me ask first, do you have a plan or an idea of where you want it to exist online? Or is it a workshop?
Yes. No, I want it to be like an actual course. So I used to have Teachable, but I canceled it because I was looking into Thrivecar. I'm maybe saying it wrong, but
No,
so basically the blogger that I follow, she just sent out an email saying that Thrivecar now lets you do courses. And what I like about it is like Thrivecar right now is only like a one-time fee. I can't remember, it's like about $500, but with it, you can do courses, you can do like landing pages, and then you can do tripwires and all those things.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, that will be, and you can do upsells too. So that would be amazing, because right now I have lead pages, so I'm paying for that. And then I was paying for Teachable, and then it seems to me like it is a way for me to combine everything.
I have a question about this real quick. When you say they allow courses, have you looked into what that entails? And if you have, do you know if they support native video uploads, or if that's something like, or if it's more like a course structure that you embed your course videos?
I'm not sure.
That's something to look into, because if they don't, then that will require you to have like, Vimeo Pro or something that you integrate into that structure, because it's kind of tricky language. And I wonder if that's the case, because I know Thrivecar's great for checkouts, because like that's what they were made for, and they do, the tripwire is great and all that. I'm pretty sure they set up affiliates well too, I think. But
they do have affiliates too.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure aren't they customized? Oh no, that's Samcart, but they still might have customizable landing pages for.
They do too. Mhm.
or each affiliate where it's like, Peggy invited you to do this?
I think, yeah, I think that they do because she has like everything in there now, and she's actually, yeah, she has those landing pages, the
Yeah.
affiliates, and now she's also like transferring all her courses from Teachable to DriveCar, and I think that it lets you upload the videos inside the platform, so you
Okay.
don't have to have like an external thing for
Two
that.
things. One, tell me the name of this blogger immediately.
It's Star Mom blog. That's her name is Susie.
What is the blog?
I can for Star Mom blog, like Star Mom blog.
Mom.
Yeah. I can forward you the email that she sent.
I would like that. I love looking into all this stuff. I'm obsessed with platforms.
Yeah, and what I like about her is like she has a lot of courses. She has a course about course. She has a course about blogging, printables, like a lot of things. And I love the way that like her tripwires are and all of it. And that's where I got the idea from using DryCar for my, for my course. So I wanted to be, I want this one to be like my first course, the calligraphy course, and then I want to do like a, floral doodle course because I love that too. And so, but that's what I'm getting like stuck right now because I don't know if I should do a little one or a big one, or
While you plan that out and while you figure that out, because that's going to come with like a lot of brainstorming, but while you're doing that, I think that a very good quote webinar, which Alina kindly let us know what that means, and it's a web seminar.
Okay.
So, I know she has answers to everything, but in that, I think that a really good takeaway is think about being emotionally driven and what people do click on and all that stuff. 5 mistakes people are making when they're learning calligraphy, or like something about how you're going to tackle the mystery of getting started, or like really calling out the mistakes that people don't want to make as they're getting into it. So that way you're not giving away the course, because you're going to talk about the mistakes, you'll offer a solution, but then you'll lead into, and that's why I'm presenting this new blog to you.
Oh, that's genius.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
I've got them all day.
Yes, it is. No, it's like ding, 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 ding. Now, like a light,
Yeah. I mean, mistakes, like think about how much we like will look something up. Like I was looking up hiking in the freezing Arctic today. Not literally that, but the things that were like really grabbing my attention is like these are the top mistakes people make when these like basically how people are unprepared when they start doing the thing, and they just have a really good hook. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to know. Like all these people can recommend all the products in the world, but what I want to know is like, maybe I shouldn't wear cotton, maybe I should wear fleece, like stupid stuff like that. But yeah, it's a huge pull to find out like, okay, these are mistakes that I don't have to make in this process.
Yes.
That's one idea. The other idea would be to set people up with like, make it like really tangible. So like it could be something to do with like a free guide. Maybe the guide is like super beefy, like 20 pages long of whatever. And then you work through those with people and you just kind of briefly touch on the way they're structured without telling people exactly how to do it on their own. So that's another thing that you could do. So that they have the guide, it's there, but it's not technically teaching them, but you walk through it together. And instead of giving them like every tip in the world, you're giving a couple here and there. And then I can't wait to teach you guys how to do this like effortlessly without these guides, blah, blah, blah. That's another idea.
And so, but my thing is like, so would I include actual things from the course in there, like the basic strokes or like the,
Yeah, I was gonna say you definitely can, but like rule of thumb, I'm making this up right now. I don't know if this is like a thing, but I would not put more than 10% of the course in your like offer up front. So it could be like a webinar, or it could be a live workshop type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, like you can get creative like this with products too. Like if it's if it's a set of something or like worksheets or something. I just had a marketing call with my upcoming book, and they were asking me what I wanted to do and like if I've ever done pre-release or bonus content. I'm like, you know what would be better is like have a series of 3 workshops that are free online. Like that value is, people are going to want to do that, and that is if you pre-order, then you get these 3 workshops.
That's super smart, Peggy,
Thank you.
because then everyone's going to fall in love with you, and then they're going to go over to Skillshare, and then they're going to be like, oh my gosh. And then you're going to get more crazy Teresa stalkers. So sorry.
But the nice thing is they've already purchased. So that's like an incentive to pre-order. So that means my sales and marketing, like in that sense, will go up, which will be good for initial launch. But it also, exactly what Teresa said, it's still promo for other stuff, but it's also like a series of lives that they get something tangible right then. So yeah, there's a lot of, it's just a matter of being creative. Like that came up during a conversation. I'm like, what if we did this? So don't be afraid to like jump on calls like this and brainstorm with people. Like get a tiny mastermind put together, talk about your process. People are going to ask you questions. Like think about how many people in here. I'm not the only one with answers. I know I'm talkative. That's the problem. That's why I'm like, you guys talk about this, because I will start talking and never stop. Alina,
I love it.
when we jumped on our call right before, she was like, okay, so this question came in and I just figured you could probably talk about that for a really long time. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you know me really well. I'm like, I will segue all over the place. So
You're welcome.
which is exactly what happened. So yeah, it does. It's helpful to have like a person or maybe 2 people that you meet with, like, I don't know, every month or every 2 weeks, and you just talk about your stuff. It's good for accountability too. Just saying. Is anybody part of a mini mastermind in the flock?
I
No,
tried.
but that
Thinking
would
about
I got the
Okay.
group that I'm supposed to be in, but I never did anything with it because
Okay, so Alina, will you write down a note that we need to structure that?
Yeah, I
Uh,
tried. I reached out to my 4 people and only 1 person emailed back, and that was it. And then I wrote a note to the group saying, I don't know what to do from here. And the other person said, neither do I. And then it ended.
So
that's
maybe
a
that
great
person,
initiative. That's more than I took, Kelly. You're just-
maybe that person would be good to pair up with anyway, but I don't like that. So, because it's
Yeah.
not helpful for the people that actually want it. So, Alina, let's talk in our next meeting about how we can brainstorm ways to hold.
like I really want to participate and do it. I don't have the capacity to take on a leadership position in whatever happens. And so
That's
that's
what
why
it
I've
is.
been like hesitant to sort of speak up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I have ideas for this. So it's basically like the responsibility of getting the setup going. So I've got ideas for this. So we can talk about it, Alina. And I've got free resources for sites instead of having to pay for Zoom. Cool. Okay. I'll talk about it. We're going to restructure that and then relaunch it after the next launch. Cool. Thank you for that. Anyway, having an accountability buddy, even if it's just one, is really helpful, but it is tough because you do have to rely on those people to actually show up and want it just as bad as you. So maybe we can, instead of just having quick signups, Alina, we can have like a lot of preliminary questions to lock people in and make sure. It's kind of like what Tom did with his community, to like have them actually participate in a random
Yeah.
X in order to know that they are good candidates, so that they'll be engaged. Cool, good, check, own it. I don't mind you guys seeing the process.
I think that we all just sort of have the fear that we don't want to be the kid in school that's the only one showing up and doing the work. Yeah.
Totally. I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
That would be like, it's like pulling teeth too. Like It's like, hey, I'm here because I want help too. Like, I'm not the only person. And that's the thing. I've been in a mastermind where I felt like, wow, this is such a waste of time because I'm ending up taking this role where I'm just coaching everybody. And now I'm just a coach. And that's probably my fault. Like, I like to overshare and I like to ramble and then I like to come up with ideas and I like to leave them in and blah, blah, blah. You guys know this, but I've been better about it where I'm kind of quiet and I'm like, you guys talk and I'll just interject a little bit. But nobody wants that responsibility if you're like going into something. So I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for the feedback. And moving forward, the point was talking it out, Myra, can really, and everybody can really help like determine what you want that to look like. Another thing that I do want to mention, I don't know if anybody has watched the replay or who was live for our last like live coaching in the flock, but Kim had a great example. Like we really walked through her process. Like she really wants to put out this content, but she doesn't really know what it looks like. And so I was like giving her actionable item, like steps to make the thing happen. Like, this is what you need to do as far as your brainstorm. This is what you need to do as far as your defining. And she's like, okay, so I've done that and I've done that and I've done that and I have all that. And I'm thinking, I'm listening to this and I'm like, your answer is that your mindset's getting in the way. You have everything that you need. It's a matter of like, you are overthinking, and trust your instinct. Yeah. Trust your instincts.
Yeah.
Do the
I went on like a motivational pep talk.
Totally.
I think I just need to sign up for your mastermind, Peggy.
I know. No.
Where do I sign up?
It's not a mastermind I host. It's like with 4 other industry people. But I was thinking about that, and that was something that I was like, ooh, maybe I should launch something like that, and then we can have like 2 conferences a year, but it wouldn't be cheap. That's the problem. I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about for a few years. That would be cool. But in the meantime, yeah, I mean, here's my process that's helped me smash mindset stuff. I know we're like at time, so I'll wrap this up, but the stuff that's helped me with mindset is just like acknowledging that it's mindset, acknowledging that I've got the stuff ready to go, and literally just doing it. And then if I do it and I see something that I wish I would have done, not beat myself up, not tried to edit things, but think about, okay, this is an opportunity to now weave that in a different way, and then build a structure around that, or build a like complementary class. And that's actually how I grew, was because I kept making complementary products. So your first big whatever doesn't have to be its thing. Like, so for example, in Creative Course Lab, I desperately wanted to do a deep dive in marketing, but that would have been like a whole course in its own. So I created a module that had like an overview of these like good marketing tips, but they didn't like do some deep dive and do a bunch of exercises and do a bunch of things. And so I am planning on making that, maybe, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but it's like on my list if I have time to really structure a course, a program on launches and on marketing, because I think that that would be really helpful for people, especially when it's specifically catered to artists and creatives. So that's a complementary product, which will end up being something that I can weave into Creative Course Lab's module on marketing, talking about how that can be their next step, because you always want a next step after your product, because then that person isn't just done, they're then looking into the next thing that you offer. So that's kind of how, and that's the same. Oh, this brings me way back down, scaled down to YouTube videos. It's hard to plan content and be like, and in my next video, you're going to see X per day, because then it's like, am I actually going to do that unless I'm batch working? But I do like to think about, whether it be classes, whether it be YouTube, whatever, have always reference other videos to watch. So instead of being like, thanks, hope that was, even though I don't listen to mine, I'm the epitome of like the opposite. Like I don't do this stuff because I press record with no plan, but so don't do what I do. But it is really helpful to be like, and I go over this more in detail in this video. You can do the point thing and have the card come up, or you can just say, in a video that I did, bloody do, have a cover come up, or just this isn't spray tan. Okay. I'm really self-conscious about it. It's clay. Every Wednesday I do clay. It's red clay. It dyes everything. It's not spray tan. You see, I'm not tan. I think it smells bad. I don't care. My skin is very white. Anyway, what am I saying? To reference other stuff that you've already created, because that's easy because it already exists. And then that gives people a next step. So you might mention it midway, like, and I referenced that more in this video, bloody do, go through the rest of the thing. And then at the end and say, you can say, and like I said, I do recommend checking this one to do a deeper dive. And that's it. So that's going to keep people overlapping over your stuff instead of finding the next thing, because we all know in the content world, there's so many suggested next steps that algorithms create for us. So Instagrams, you know, you might like this. You might be on a random blog and like stuff you've looked up in the past pops up. That's like a cookies thing where they can pull your recent search and then it shows up. I don't mind that because it reminds me, like, I did want to buy that and I'm all about shopping, but but you know what I mean? You don't want YouTube to be like, now we recommend this thing by this other person. So wherever you put content, always give people a next step. And that might be it also in your courses. Don't look at mine as examples. We learn as we go. But yeah, that's what I have to say. We're at time. I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much. I adore you all so much. And any last minute lingering thoughts, compliments, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for
Yes,
being
thank you so
amazing,
much. This was so helpful.
all of you.
I'm so glad. Okay, good. I'll talk to you all so soon. I'm so glad that I get to see your faces today. I feel like I needed it more than Teresa, even though I didn't feel very fragile, but I feel like connection kind of softens us and makes us realize, like, I did need this. Thank you. Yes, this is something I needed. All right. I'll talk to you all later. Have the best rest of your day. Please implement something that you need in some way. If that means making a hot chocolate and trying to steam the milk or trying to foam the milk by shaking it really hard, then do that. Like, whatever you need to do. Implement something. Light a candle. Put lotion on your feet instead of your hands. Take a bath. Okay.
My tutorial actually is kind of relevant to this, the one that just came out for Peggy, and it's self-care, creating for self-care. And it's like, one of my friends was like, it felt like I was going through an actual meditation. I was like, what?
I love that.
proud.
I saw a couple comments come through that people were like, yes, people don't realize, like, we don't realize how much we need this stuff. And I was like, oh, hey, Teresa, go. Yes.
Okay. Hey guys, I love
Okay.
you.
Love you guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.